Hi, this is Dr. Scott, and this is my lecture video for Module 3. So first we're going to click on Module 3, Writing in College Courses. Always in the introduction, it's going to give you a step-by-step list of everything that is expected of you this week. First being completing the textbook reading assignments and reading Blackboard materials. And this is going to include the micro lecture, which I am doing right now, as well as any other notes. So this week for grammar, we're talking about different kinds of conjunctions. So I found some good YouTube videos on the types of conjunctions. I couldn't find one that had all four. So one talks about coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. And then I have some notes on that, followed by adverbial conjunctions and a list of adverbial conjunctions. I know it's in your book, but some of us are more visual and would rather have a YouTube video. So those are for you. Number 2 is complete the grammar exercise for this module. So once you've done the reading, if you've needed to, you've looked through the videos and the notes that I've shared, which are going to be helpful. Then you are going to go down to Grammar Exercise 3, Conjunctions. There will be questions that ask you to simply name the conjunction in the sentence. So, for instance, I love jumping and running. You would have to know that and is the conjunction. But there will also be questions that ask you to identify if the conjunction in the sentence was coordinating, subordinating, correlative, or adverbial. So for that, you will have to know the difference between those four, and you can refer back to these notes if that is helpful during that quiz. After completing the grammar exercise, it says to download and read the sample essay, which I will show you in a moment. Complete the grading rubric quiz. So you're going to be completing a quiz that shows that you have looked over what the grading rubric looks like for the semester and you understand how to read it, how it is used to assess your writing going forward. And then you're going to use Microsoft Editor and or Grammarly if you choose to edit the sample essay. So we're going to go down here and you will see a list of handouts. So the first handout is just further directions on what you're doing. It talks about the writing tools. If you are unfamiliar with Microsoft or how to use the editor, which for most of you that have used Microsoft Word, the editor just refers to when you are in Microsoft Word. Sometimes it will underline things in red and want you to look at it to possibly correct the grammar or the spelling. It is something that is free and built into Microsoft Word. And so that is what it is talking about when it says Microsoft Editor. But if you need more information, there is a link to further information and also a YouTube video on that. My favorite thing to use for editing is Grammarly. Grammarly is useful. I encourage you to be familiar with it, make a free account. I also encourage all my students to run all of their work and writing assignments through Grammarly before they turn it in to me, just because let's say you would have gotten a B on an assignment, maybe you would have gotten an A if you just would have ran it through Grammarly first. Grammarly is a great free tool. There is a paid subscription, but you do not need that this semester. So just use the free version, and it's going to check for all of your punctuation, your grammar, and your spelling errors. So it can also help you with emails and all sorts of stuff. And then step 4, you're going to use those tools, Grammarly, Microsoft Editor, to edit the example essay. You're also going to edit it for MLA guidelines. So, for instance, based on your knowledge right now of MLA, you may know that MLA, everything needs to be double spaced. So, if the sample essay is not double spaced, you would select everything and make it double spaced. If they did not indent their paragraphs, you would indent their paragraphs. If they did not use 12-point New Times Roman font, you would change the font to be what you feel would be a correct font. And at this point, we're just seeing how familiar you are with MLA, and then I can guide you from there. So make all the corrections you feel should be made, and then you are saving that file and uploading it with your edits as your writing assignment this week. Also, very important to make sure that when you do open The Wonders of the Moon, which is the sample essay, that you change the file to add your name to it. That way, when you go to submit it, you're not accidentally submitting the blank copy, which some people do sometimes. So when you download it, to make sure you change it, save it as The Wonders of the Moon and then your name. So then once you are finished with it and upload it, you know that you are for sure submitting the copy that has your changes and not a blank copy that you would receive a zero for, or in the first week I would let you know and you would have to redo it or resubmit it. So let's go back. So, as I was saying, the first thing that we looked at was the writing assignment writing tools, which is the information we just looked at. The Wonders of the Moon is the sample essay, so you will need to download that and open it. And you are looking through this and making any corrections that you see fit. Remember that you can also use Grammarly. So, for instance, if I have Grammarly, I could copy. I'll just do one paragraph. I could copy this first paragraph, paste it into Grammarly, and then it is going to give me suggestions on things that possibly could be corrected. And then if you accept that that should be corrected, you would click accept and it will fix it for you. And then once you have made all the corrections, you would then recopy it or control C. And then you could control V or paste it back in here with your corrections. Just a hint, I'm seeing some issues with MLA formatting as far as the font. In MLA, you always want to use 12 point sized Times New Roman font. And we don't use things like boldface, or we don't tend to see boldface italics or things that are underlined except for in special circumstances. So you will be going through that and making those changes. And then, of course, once you're done making those changes, make sure that it is saved. It is saved with your name, and you would upload that for your assignment, which would be down here where it says Transitional Writing Assignment 2 using Microsoft Editor. So you would click on that, actually, you would upload files, and then you would upload your file with the version of your corrections. All right, so other thing you are doing. So you are doing the grammar assignment this week that we talked about. You are downloading and editing to make corrections for spelling, grammar, punctuation, and MLA format of the sample essay, and then submitting that as your writing assignment. And then finally, you're going to look at the TRC written communication rubric, and that is going to prepare you for the rubric quiz that's going to ask you specific questions about this rubric. Rubrics are just how we grade assignments. Usually they're based on a scale of 1 to 4, 1 being inadequate, 2 being developing, 3 being competent, and 4 being mastery. You'll see that you are graded in different areas, so thesis, development of ideas, organization and coherence, standard written English, and meets the assignment purpose or the directions of the assignment. There's more details as to what each of those mean underneath it. And then underneath each ranking, which would be like a 1, 2, 3, or 4, it explains to you how you would get a full pointed 4-point thesis versus a thesis that is inadequate or does not meet the standards. So your goal is to look at this. I suggest having this open in a separate tab, possibly while you take the quiz, just because this is a lot of information and it is hard to memorize. And the point of the quiz is not necessarily that you have the rubric memorized, but that you are able to look at it, interpret it, and understand what it means going forward. So, again, there's nothing against having this open in a second tab just to refer back to while you take the quiz. It will probably ask you questions about what domains or what categories you're being assessed in, which are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. It may ask you, how do I get a top score in developing ideas, what would need to happen in my paper, or what kind of issues or lack of issues would I have to get full points in the standard written English. So it could ask you anything about the rubric, anything about the scale of the rubric, or what you're being graded on. I have not totally looked over that quiz yet, so just know that you are allowed to have this open in a second tab. And if you have any questions or possibly disagree with maybe something like an answer to a question, this is the first semester that I have seen the college come out with a quiz specifically over rubrics. And every once in a while, there might be a faulty question. So if you feel that there is a faulty question and that you should have gotten something right, feel free to reach out to me and I will be open to investigating that and looking into that for you. But I trust that everything should be correct on the quiz. If you have any questions about anything this week, about the grammar concepts, about the editing of the sample essay and submitting that, or of the rubric quiz, please email me at jessicascott@trcc.edu. I know this is a lot this week, so just take things one thing at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. If you have questions, I am here. I am usually really good about responding within 24 hours to any emails if you send those to me, and that would be um, through your school trcc.edu email. Thank you, and have a great day.